happening, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now, slightly delayed post-fight review. I apologise about that. But let's just get straight into it. Over there in Texas, Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas pretty much going the way how I predicted, with Mikey Garcia winning a unanimous points decision in a competitive fight. And that is what it was. I mean, it was a very competitive fight, especially earlier on. Jesse Vargas going in there against Mikey Garcia with all the motivation. I knew that, especially considering Mikey Garcia was coming off a loss, a comprehensive one to Errol Spence, and the fact that he'd been slightly inactive. I thought that this would be, a good test for Jesse Vargas to go in there as a former world champion himself to try and prove himself against one of the more popular fighters in the sport today. And that is what he did. I mean, he started off very well. He was jabbing very well from the offset, and he was kind of putting it on Mikey a little bit earlier on. And he took the first few rounds for sure. But he seemed to get a bit tired after the fourth round onwards a little bit. It seemed to me anyway. And Mikey Garcia got knocked down, I believe it was in the fifth round now, fourth or fifth round. And since then, I mean, Mikey Garcia kind of took control of the fight, was establishing his dominance in the middle rounds, and he did enough to win a unanimous decision on the cards. Now, I had it, I can't remember the scorecard I had it, but I had Mikey Garcia a couple of rounds up. But it was a very competitive fight. I mean, you could give rounds either way at some stage of the fights. But I did believe that Mikey Garcia did enough to win. I thought he looked impressive towards the end of it. And he moves on. I mean, there's talk now of a fight with him against Manny Pacquiao. And with Jesse Vargas, I mean, he wanted to kind of establish his dominance as the bigger man earlier on. And I think he was doing that. But I think just down the stretch, he got a bit fatigued. And it's an L in the bracket column there for Jesse Vargas. But no doubt he'll bounce again. I thought he put in a good performance. And there will be some other fights for him down the line. Now, let's talk about Mikey Garcia and Manny Pacquiao, because that is what, people are talking about. How does it go? I mean, is it realistic, do you think, with this fight? I think it is realistic. I think that it could happen. Mikey Garcia is a big name in the sport, as well as Manny Pacquiao is. Pacquiao obviously fights over there for the PBC. Mikey Garcia, I believe, is on a rolling contract with DAZN at the moment. So I don't know how many fights he's got left, or if that was just one of them or not. One of you guys feel free to enlighten me in the comments. But I don't think it's a very difficult fight to make. I think Mikey Garcia will freely move around the networks to find out what's best for him. And if a Manny Pacquiao fight comes about, I think that he'll take it. And I think Manny Pacquiao will take it as well. I think that's a realistic fight for him. So I wouldn't be surprised if later on down the year that gets announced. I mean, they're in talks about it right now, but how advanced talks they are in it, I'm not sure. But I can see that fight happening down the line. And if it does happen, who would you go with? I mean, who would you side with in that particular fight? Do you think that Mikey Garcia would defeat Manny Pacquiao, or do you think Pacquiao still, at his age right now, would have enough in the tank to defeat Mikey Garcia? I'm leaning towards Pacquiao, if you ask me. I think that he has, especially over the last year, I mean, he defeated Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, and he looked very impressive in those fights. And I think that he'd probably have a bit too much from Mikey Garcia at a weight that he's not very comfortable with. I mean, Mikey Garcia is not a natural welterweight. He's not big at the weight at all. Manny Pacquiao's not a natural welterweight, we know that, but he's been fighting at welterweight for so long now. I think that he would adjust better, and I think that he'd probably defeat Mikey Garcia if that fight gets made. But let's wait and see on that one, if that does get announced or not. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was still a good performance for Mikey Garcia, and he moves on. So let's see what happens there. Now, the co-main event, which was the fight that I was really looking forward to, was Garcia against Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. And what a performance from Roman Gonzalez, man. He just showed once again that, I mean, how good this guy really is. I thought that Garcia, it was probably coming at the right time for him. I mean, Gonzalez is like 32 years old now. He's been through the wars. But you just saw, I mean, the fluidity and the way how he was putting it on your thigh. It's like he didn't miss a trick. It's like it's like the old Roman Gonzalez. And I mean, he just had way too much for Garcia. And he took away his title and his unbeaten record. But Garcia can bounce back, man. I mean, it was a bit of a harsh lesson in there for him. But Roman Gonzalez literally won every round before knocking him out in the ninth with a thunderous right hand. It put Garcia on his back. And that was pretty much that. But tremendous story for Roman Gonzalez. I mean, I love watching him fight. I'm sure some of you lot will agree as well. Just the way how he puts his punches together so effortlessly. It's like a rhythm in motion, the way how he just puts his punches together. He always goes to war every time out. He knows what he's about. He knows how he fights. But I think it's just the way how he puts his punches together, man. Garcia just couldn't deal with it. I thought he just fought the wrong fight. And I totally agree with what Matthew Macklin was saying, that Calify should have boxed a bit more. But it's hard, you know. I mean, it's easy for you to tell a fighter out in the corner to go out there and just box and move. But when you're being dragged into a fight like he was against Roman Gonzalez, I mean, it was very difficult for your fight. And I think he just saw the levels that night. But, I mean, he'll be able to bounce back, man. I mean, one defeat, as I've said in the previous video, is not the end of the world. But he did take a bit of a pasting. So let's see what happens there. But I thought overall Roman Gonzalez was brilliant. And, you know, speaking on the rest of the card, I mean, I know Joseph Parker bounced back with a 5th round knockout. And Julio Cesar Martinez put in a good performance against Jay Harris, who put in a very brave effort. But Martinez is a special talent, and I think that he's definitely one that we're going to be talking about in the next few years to come. So overall, a very good card in Texas, and you know, especially from all the fallout with Fury Wilder 3, I thought that this was a very good card. And yeah, some good fights, some good action there, man. So let me know what fight you enjoyed the most, and what sort of highlights or sticking points that you'd like to speak about. But yeah, very good card over there in Texas, and we move on. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you all on the next one.